Hey there! So today we have another beer talk, and this is my story about the first time I went to Zwanze Day, and we're going to talk about what Zwanze Day is, my previous experience with Zwanze Day, and why I've never been to one previously. Talk about the beers I had there, and then just having fun there, and then also maybe about like questions you guys can answer about like creating content about stuff like that. So first off, what's Zwanze Day? So Zwanze Day has been around for at least a decade. It is pretty much the Cantillon Day. Pretty much Cantillon is arguably like the most hype Belgian brewery. They make old world style of beer that really doesn't really exist anymore, except like craft beer sort of like kept it alive. Every year they choose, I don't know, like maybe 50 to 100, some number, 50 to 100 bars in the country, and they ship a bunch of rare Cantillon stuff along with a one brew that they do. For the event that I had in Orlando, you had to pre-order tickets. I didn't end up doing that, not thinking ahead, but I still went to the event. So that's sort of what Zwanze Day is. It's one time a year. It's been happening for years and years. Well, the good question is, why haven't I ever been? Being a huge beer geek. Well, this channel's been around for a while, but I've worked in the industry for a while, and it always happens on a Saturday. And working in the industry, you're going to work Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's just sort of part of like ideal. Like that's where you make the most money. So I did try once to go to Zwanze Day, and I actually went to Sport and Doyville in Brooklyn, which is now closed because they had their yesterday had Zwanze Day, and then just closed. I actually stood online in the morning for quite a while, and then found out they just had nothing left. So I left. I guess if you want to do Zwanze Day in Brooklyn, you're going to have to wait hours and hours beforehand. And I waited some amount of time beforehand, and it wasn't good enough. But fortunately, I've been able to try a bunch of Cantillon in my life, doing the hype bottle shares and all that cool stuff. But I finally got off work a little bit early. Well, I actually could have went anyway. I worked the morning to the afternoon and got off even just a little bit earlier and went to Zwanze Day, which is at Redlight in Orlando. If you don't know about Redlight, I honestly, it's a shame that I don't go enough. It's actually a really cool brewery. It's a brewery that probably was the first brewery to do liquor pours, and they still do liquor pours. They also have a cask engine system, which is crazy. Like I don't think any other brewery locally has cask ale, and I actually had one which is amazing, the Golden Ale. Love cask ale after being like spoiled by Hogshead in Denver. And they also have like a weird vintage kind of crazy stuff. Like they have stuff like Phantom and like 2010 Oscar Blues 1050 and random like old bottles of Crooked Stave, and they have a few big fridges of just like old vintage stuff of like vintage lambic, vintage Jolly Pumpkin, vintage, like all the stuff that like, I sort of liked getting into, and also even the cool old stuff that like was before my time around 2013 or so. So really, really cool, like fun stuff that, I sort of like itch to enjoy these days because it's like all that old money kind of dumb stuff that I'm into, not the crazy hype, hazy IPAs and kettle sours or whatever. So that's the old money in me talking. So it's a really cool brewery, and I really need to go back more. But the event there, I got there around 3 o'clock off work, and bang, I hit Magic Lambic, which is a blend of 80% Loup Pepe Framboise, which is like their Grand Cru version of their Framboise, which is absolutely amazing of beer. I feel like I've had I feel like maybe I have the Framboise and then the Loup Pepe Goose, which are two of the best lambics I've ever had in my entire life. And then it's blended with like 20% blueberry vanilla lambic, which is very weird. I thought the beer was a little funky because like the vanilla is a little bit like extra to the beer and makes it taste a little bit like a kettle sour, but obviously really delicious beer. Vigneron is now one of my favorites because that Vigneron was absolutely amazing. I was by myself for at least an hour or two, or an hour-ish, and just sipped on beer. Sat at the bar, sipped on a beer by myself. Texted a bunch of friends, hey, who's coming to Zwanze? I'd love to hang out with some people. And so just sipped on, 2 small 8-ounce lambics just for an hour or so. Enjoyed them. Enjoyed the atmosphere. Quite busy. A lot of people hanging out, sharing bottles of lambic. Or not, they had bottles of lambic, but they're just mostly ordering lambic. And then actually got to meet up with a bunch of friends, a bunch of people that I met when I moved down here. And then just haven't seen them in years and years. Just my schedule. I just don't really do too much social stuff. Got to meet up with them, and then also one of Daniel, who you guys saw do Jester King reviews with me. So him and his wife showed up, and just fun. Let's talk about the beer, though. So the Magic Lamb was really good. The Vigneron was shockingly amazing. And then Saint Lamb got tapped at 5 p.m., which is just one of my favorites. People are big Fufoon fans. I've never had Blaubeer, but I think Saint Lamb might just be my favorite. But then also now I'm lost in conversation. Like the great thing about beer is that like the beer can be very amazing, but enjoying great beer with conversation and not focusing about the beer is also really amazing. So I got to just hang out. Like it's really fun doing that. I got to actually, Daniel was nice enough to actually order me a glass of the Frederiksberg cherry wine. That was the beer. Like my number one beer of last year was a sour beer from Jester King that used that cherry juice from Denmark. They actually just have the still cherry wine just sitting on the counter for you to order. And I don't think I saw nobody order that other than Daniel ordering one for me. So it was really fun to try that. It's like a really interesting still cherry wine. Would taste a little bit like oxidized, like actual grape wine. Not too sweet, but just interesting product. I also got to try Jester King Brettanomyces Porter. That was inspired by Ron Pattinson, so that was really interesting. And then I had one of their cask ales, which was absolutely amazing. Like just this random 5% golden ale, big 20-ounce glass. Like just great for conversation. It was like, warm, low carb, nitro-ish. But I just love cask. I've been spoiled by Hogshead, so really, really fun. If I was smarter, I probably would have grabbed one of these mics that I used to use that like sort of suck for the channel. The quality is actually really bad, but they're not great. But probably would have worked. And I had an hour to myself. Maybe I could have done a little review at Redlight for you guys of the, Vigneron or the Magic Lambic. You post in the comments below if I should really think forward ahead enough. But in the end, I got to do my first Zwanze day. Has amazing beers. Got to meet up friends. It was a great time. And if you guys are ever in Orlando, I need to put Redlight up there. It's just so cool. Like they have Random Phantom and Saint Somewhere and just crazy weird stuff that nobody they're selling bottles of Orval. Who's hyping up Orval in Orlando? But this brewer just really has that kind of like heart of old school, mostly Belgian beer in their hearts, and also like old school American beer in their minds. So it's really, really cool to have. So yeah, just had a great time. You guys post in the comments below if you have any questions. Post if I should focus more if I'm doing an event, like, hey, what content can I make for you guys? You just check out my Instagram. I literally took 3 photos and just had a great time. So until next time, cheers. Zwanze Day. Post your story about Zwanze Day. You guys probably have more stories about Zwanze Day because I have 2 stories. I missed it once and waited in line and then had a great day for one time. And I've been to beer for quite a while. I've only done one Zwanze Day. So hopefully next time I do it next year. Pre-order tickets. Get to try the Zwanze Day beer. The Zwanze Day beer, by the way, this year is like a seaweed lambic, which sounds really interesting. But I didn't get to try that, but got to try all kinds of amazing lambic in general. Well, I got to try Magic Lambic. I've never had. Saint Lamb. I've had. Vigneron I've had. And I should try the Classic Goose as well. So until next time, cheers later.